yeah, we're getting a live-action Miles Morales movie. Not today, but extremely soon. I knew they were going to make one because when they introduced Miles Morales in the first Insomniac game, I was like, they're laying the groundwork. But the announcement today of his own game, which we're going to discuss now, that just seriously stepped up the timetable. They could at this point announce a live-action Miles Morales movie at any moment, and I'm here for it. Because I'm a huge Miles Morales fan. I've been a Miles Morales fan since day one. I picked up his first comic. I've been reading it ever since. Even today, he just had a new issue come out yesterday that's sitting on my iPad. I'm going to read it with new gusto now because Miles Morales is just really a fantastic character. Some people write him off as a token character, which really annoys me because he's anything but. And I would implore you, now you got to be motivated to go and read his comic. And watch his animated movie. Oh, it's so exciting. Oh, this is just going to be fantastic. I can't wait. All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so today, during their PS5 Reveal, Sony got behind the Miles Morales character in the biggest way yet, making him the debut trailer during their presentation. I was like, oh, it's superheroes. As soon as it started, they had some Grand Theft Auto announcement first, but it wasn't a new game, whatever. But they were like, okay, let's show you. They were like, okay, from here on out, this is PS5 footage from the new game console. And I was like, the close-up, they're like, oh, your father always told you. I was like, okay, it's superheroes. Who's it going to be? And then I saw the spider mask in the corner, and I was like, and then I saw that it was black and red, and I was like, is it Miles Morales? And it is Miles Morales. It was Miles Morales. And, giving him his own game alone this quickly, he didn't even really have a major presence in the first game. So he gets his own game right away, and he's the first presentation during the first reveal during this presentation. That's amazing. And the crowd went wild. By the way, so many people were tuning in. The kind of audience numbers that I'm sure is making Hollywood very jealous right now because, of course, they're shut down in the movie division. But that's fine because Miles Morales is going to swing into the movies. I'm sure of it. But he's still trending number 2, 30 minutes into the presentation, which was revealing other stuff. Of course, the timing with what's going on right now with Black Lives Matter is excellent. But even on its own, I believe there is a lot of love for this character. And it makes me wonder, even though the box office numbers were only moderate for the animated movie, perhaps because it's been on Netflix now for over a year, maybe it's like Austin Powers. And I use Austin Powers as an example because while the first movie only did moderate business, it blew up because everybody became huge fans by the time the sequel hit because they'd seen it in the ancillary market, which means, now it means streaming, but, with Austin Powers, it was rental, airplane, all the other places you can see a movie. So I think Miles Morales, it might be like an iceberg situation where a huge fan base is developed beneath the surface, and they're just waiting to be tapped, and Sony's gonna tap it. Okay, now of course, Miles, as I said, was already introduced in Insomniac Games' 2018 Spider-Man, a hugely successful game for the PS4 where it was an exclusive. And now it's being announced that it's the first sequel to that game. I'm sure they'll make another regular sequel, but it will be a Miles Morales spin-off, hitting the marketplace for the 2020 holiday season. And the game is Christmas-themed, which I think is so good. And it will be a PS5 exclusive. I think it's going to drive a lot of traffic. How many of you are going to buy the game specifically, PS5 specifically for the Miles Morales game? It's right around the corner. I'll be covering all the trailers and the cutscenes and the breakdowns because I think that this is, as I said, setting up a live-action movie, so I think it's very important to follow how Sony is depicting the character. He's also older here than he is in the animated. Well, we'll see how old he is in the animated sequel that they're working on. But I think they're quickly aging him up as well. Oh, to around Tom Holland age. Now, of course, Sony has already invested in Miles Morales in their animation division, and that was a very good first step. The film was, again, only a moderate box office performer, but it won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. A superhero movie beating out Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks. That's big, and the movie totally deserved it, by the way. We just rewatched it in a watch-along party the other day. And its sequel is slated for the very hot date of October 7th, 2022. First weekend in October goes to... that will be the first weekend in October. It goes to Into the Spider-Verse 2. Marvel had that date for the MCU, but they very generously gave it to Sony with the recent pandemic release date shuffle. Animator Nick Kondo recently revealed that production has begun on the sequel, and the announcement tweet, even though it had no new visuals, got 1.4 million views. The hype is real, as I said. This, of course, could easily, be seen as laying the groundwork for a live-action Miles Morales, if the game sells well. That'll be the green light, literally, that Sony needs. And I think it's going to sell well. When Spider-Verse came out, I noted that Shameik Moore and Haley Steinfeld are both the same age or around the same age as Tom Holland, and could easily play their live-action counterparts, which I would imagine was factored into their casting. And I think Haley Steinfeld is still in good shape, but unfortunately, Shameik Moore made some Black Lives Matter comments or observations about Rosa Parks. And he was very well-intentioned, but it didn't go over well. And I think he might have taken himself out of the running. But he shouldn't feel, well, he should feel bad for what he said. But again, I think he didn't, he was well-intentioned. But I don't think he probably would have gotten the gig anyway, because I think they're going to want an actor who can generate the kind of online fan frenzy that Holland does, that Zendaya does as MJ. And as talented as Shameik Moore is, I don't see him doing that, and except inadvertently with his miscomments. Stranger Things, Caleb McLaughlin has been low-key campaigning for the role. He's 6 years younger than Holland, and that could work. But I'm not totally sold on McLaughlin either. He has, I think, the humor, but I don't see him whipping the fans into a frenzy like Holland and Zendaya do. I think they need someone who's at that level for it to really turn out. So I think Sony should do a casting search. I don't believe there is an actor right now that's high profile or even moderate profile that I would put in the role. I think they're going to have to find someone new, like Tom Holland was. And please note that Miles Morales would not replace Tom Holland. It would expand the Sony Spider-Verse in the movies and live action. And they could have multiple franchises with Miles, sometimes crossing over with Peter, with each having their own adventures. It would be like Black Panther expanded the MCU. And I am sure that the mega success of Black Panther is a driving factor here. They're like, wait a minute, we have a character like that. Why don't we use him? Why don't you use him indeed? The Black community and the Latino community, Miles is mixed, he represents both, they are big consumers of comics, video games, and movies. And I have felt for quite some time that they should be better represented in that content. But, you can't just rush it, as we've seen. There's been a big discussion about race-bending characters, and I have to say, I agree with many that they don't, while it's, I think they're trying to make up for lost time, but they don't stick like the characters that are introduced as a different ethnicity. People want organic, well-developed characters. That's what audiences are responding to. And Miles is one of those. I truly believe that if handled correctly, Miles Morales could be as big as Black Panther. And they're opposite ends of the spectrum. T'Challa is the king of an entire nation, and Miles, like Peter, is a New York guy. He's an everyman, and I think that's really an important factor there. They would be, and they're both Marvel basically, but it would be amazing. DC needs to work on finding themselves a diverse hero as well. I guess Jason Momoa kind of counts, but All right, so the new game trailer, it highlights what are already becoming Miles Morales' classic aspects, right, of his mythology. His amazing power set, invisibility, and his Venom Blast. Love it. And then also, you see a quick glimpse of one of his best rogues, his own uncle, Aaron, the Prowler. And by the way, I didn't like that the video game killed off his dad, which is referenced in this trailer. I didn't like that. And I don't like that the animated movie killed off his uncle. I think both of them should be alive, pulling Miles in two different directions. And I think it's a reflection of sometimes the situation that happens in these real communities. You have some people who are on law enforcement and some people who are on the other side of that. Where should you go, right? And there were some great comics, dialogue written about that. So I think they should both be alive in the live action. I think that's imperative. Should they redo his origin story? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. It's so good in Into the Spider-Verse. It's so good. I think he should maybe just swing into action. And both of his in the live action movies, his uncle and his father are both alive. His mother's actually a pretty cool character in the comics as well, and so I'd like to see that explored as well. He just got a baby sister. All right, so anyway, the costume animation in this trailer looks a little rubbery to me, which is weird because the PS5 is all about look at our exciting new graphics. But the actual face of the character looks fantastic. I think it looks very expressive and very authentic. I also love this one behind shot from behind. I love his coat. I love the swagger. I love that he's on the street in his local neighborhood with the local New York Christmas decorations. I just think I not only see something very good creatively and quality, in terms of quality, but I see something that I think can make a lot of money. So I'm very excited. What do you think? Share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.